in general, I don't recommend jumping in headfirst to starting a business. Like I said, I don't recommend jumping in and having a big financial pressure on your business if you have not planned. So let's instead go in with a plan. Now, the very first thing that I need you to do is that you have to be very, very clear as an entrepreneur about what your personal expense needs are. What is your personal expense requirement? How much do you need to pay yourself in order to live? What are your bills? Do you know that off the top of your head, or is this something you're able to put together, right? Like, how much do you need to live off of? And not just this month, but for like many, many months, because we have to assume, if we're being more realistic than what a lot of people tell you on Instagram, that this is going to take time, because it does. Right? It takes a lot of time. And you also don't want to build a business that's like, if your business makes $5,000 in its first month, that is incredible. That's very, very unrealistic and does not happen often. But if it did, you don't pay yourself $4,500, right? So a young business is supposed to keep money in the business, and you pay yourself as little as possible starting out so that you can start to build up some capital and reinvest in the business, which is what's going to ultimately strengthen and grow it over time, right? So we need to know upfront, absolutely, how much do you need to pay yourself? And the next thing you have to research is very tricky, and I wish that this was a bit easier for online entrepreneurs especially, but it's really very difficult for all solo entrepreneurs. We have to look into things like healthcare and benefits or retirement savings plans, that kind of stuff, if that's what you need right now. I mean, we all need healthcare and should have healthcare, but if those are the kinds of things you need, or if it's not something you're getting from a partner or spouse or something like that, or another job right now, we have to look into how much that's going to cost and where that's going to come from, right? For me, I was fortunate enough to get my healthcare through my spouse, so that did make it a little bit easier to leave my job. That would have been a very, very big expense to account for. In terms of my benefits, I obviously lost all the benefits I had at the firm, and I also lost my retirement account. I mean, I got to keep what was in it, but I couldn't keep contributing, didn't get the employer match anymore. And I wanted to bring that up because I actually didn't restart that for myself until several years into my business. So I saved a lot for my business. My business over the years had gotten to a place where I was paying myself consistently and relatively significantly. And then I was saving within my business and then all of that. But the next phase for me was, first I started a SEP IRA. I use Betterment for all of my retirement savings accounts as an entrepreneur. So I set up my Betterment account, and then I got a SEP IRA. And then when I hired Lindsay, my full-time employee, we set up a 401k through Betterment, and I do like a company match for me and Lindsay. And so we contribute to that and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sharing that because this is something that has evolved over time. And it wasn't something that I could have done for a very long time for the first several years of my business. So I just wanted to share that and just normalize that. I guess that these things take a lot of time. And some of these things we might just be planning for over time. Like, our goal is to be able to set up a retirement account for you as fast as you can. But it's also normal that these things take a little bit of time. Now, on a positive note, you also want to factor in, when you're doing this research, what kind of benefits are you going to get from starting your own business or being an entrepreneur that you don't currently get as maybe an employed person elsewhere, right? So what are some of the tax savings, or what are some of the benefits? Your CPA would be a great person to sit down with and have a little bit more of this cost benefit analysis conversation about, yes, it's going to cost me a little bit more money up front, but also how much is this going to save me in my taxes, considering that I'm now paying my own taxes? Because if you're working for an employer right now, they're paying your taxes in your paycheck, and some of the taxes are coming out of it, but they're paying some too. So that's something to consider, is that you will save a little bit of money there too. So if you're in research mode and you're trying to understand, like, when can I leave my job, or when can I rely on this business, it's helpful to also know how are those things going to benefit you as well. You can learn more about legally protecting your business and take my free legal workshop, 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business, at samvanderwielen.com. And to stay connected and follow along, follow me on Instagram at samvanderwielen and send me a DM to say hi.